Hey guys, welcome to Project Metal Music's YouTube channel with the host Adam, and we are here with the absolutely brilliant Neil. So,
How are you getting on?
not too bad yourselves.
Good man, good, thank you.
Cool. Could you introduce yourself and what you actually do?
So, my name, what I go by is Neil James Parkinson, and I am a solo artist from the west coast of Scotland. Stripped back, kind of acoustic rock / metal music, taking influences from anywhere I can. More so right now, kind of traditional Scottish music and kind of folk music mixed with the likes of bands like Stone Sour, Shinedown, stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, so let's dive into some questions. As a kid, what were you listening to?
So from about the age of 10, it was a lot of new metal I was listening to. Linkin Park, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Drowning Pool, Soil. I was 13, went to my first live show in the Barrowlands in Glasgow in July 2003 to see Murdered All Stone Sour called Elvis, ELVISS. They supported, and as soon as Stone Sour hit the stage, that was life changed. That's what I wanted to do, 100%. And after that, it was Metallica. I became a complete Metallica fanatic. And although it might be quite controversial, the song and album that got me into that band was Saint Anger. I heard From the Bell Tolls and Ride the Lightning, Fade to Black, and that was me hooked completely.
Yeah, they have. I know there's a lot of especially like around about from the sort of like the Black Album, Reload albums. Almost just there's a lot of controversy.
Absolutely.
Because of this type of thing. So,
yeah, they wanted to go in from the Black Album, going by a lot of the interviews I've seen, and I'm sure everybody else knows because who follows them anyway. They are just don't like to follow trends, I suppose. But I do think from the Black Album onwards,
I stopped listening to Metallica since the Reload albums, but it wasn't until around about 2007 when I started buying into them again because of the Whiskey in the Jar cover that I did.
Oh yes, absolutely. Garage Pink album, I believe. That's there's some really good covers on that, and Whiskey in the Jar, outstanding. Unfortunately, I've not seen that one live yet, but fingers crossed.
Says my audio, my audio said it's audio's cutting in and out. I'm just hoping that so bear with us, guys. Just quickly adjust this. Just going on to the next question. Who actually got you into listening to music? Was it a family member or like mum and dad or a sibling, or was that just like?
That's a good question. I think from a very, very young age, a lot of my family members were musical. My grandfather played the fiddle. My grandmother sang on any kind of level where they would do it publicly. just in the house and stuff. Aside from my grandfather, he played publicly an awful lot at like New Year's parties and stuff. And my two older sisters, different music tastes in the house. So my dad would listen to a lot of like Gordon Lightfoot, Rainbow. He was a big Neil Diamond fan. My mum liked an awful lot of Queen. She liked into like some Michael Jackson, a lot of pop groups going through the 90s. Like Boys Going, all that kind of stuff. And I'd go into the rooms when they weren't home, rummage through their CD collection and listen to them when they weren't in. And just anything. I would really listen to anything as a young kid. And as that kind of progressed, it was just what took me my year. A story that my mother told me when I was very young, that I was a toddler or something, and they were doing up the house, and songs of praise would come on the TV, and that's the only time I would stop and focus on. I think definitely a lot of different influences from a lot of different places, and it did start from quite an early age. And I didn't know it at the time, but it's something that I think I always wanted to do. Through primary school, for example, they used to do tests to test your pitch or something. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to figure anything out like that. And I was devastated because all I wanted to do was play some kind of instrument, preferably at that point the drums. But at the time, didn't have it myself, and had an old acoustic guitar with like maybe 4 strings, out of tune, but I managed to figure out bits from like System of a Down songs and whatnot, which spurred me on to better things, I think.
Cool. Guys, if you have any troubles with the audio, it's all good on my end. You might have to refresh somewhat of a care back lately. So please refresh. Right, okay. Right, okay. Might be my end. So bear with us. Now, got a question for Lisaboo, and she asks, "What is your process for writing?"
Right. Okay.
Let's go refresh. I'll be right back. So, if you want to answer this question, while I bear with you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. My process is usually what I would do is either come up with a riff or a guitar part and play about with it. I would put in like a rough drum beat into Reaper and play along to it, and things would just kind of happen. And anything I liked, I would keep. If anything I didn't like, I wouldn't keep. And the song would kind of build from there. Lyrically, that can take some time. I've got books and books of lyrics from years and years ago where I would just write lines of stuff from when I was at work or anything like that. And I would either piece them together and see what would make sense, or sometimes things would just flow. I think each song's different in the process. It's a guitar part, and I will kind of just make up words and a melody along to it, and get a rough kind of idea, and hope it sounds good. Hope other people like it. Hope that answers your question.
Cool. Thank you for that, Lisa. Thank you for that. Right. sort of like out of all the bands, I know you've touched a little bit on about who your main influences were. Was there any other influences to say, I want to do this, I want to get up on stage, I want to do this?
Aside from the kind of when I went to see Stone Sour when I was 13, Ash, Crying, Scully, any music channel I could get. We didn't have Sky at home, so I'll go round to my friend's house and take over the TV and just bombard him and his family with metal. And they put up with it, which is really, really kind of them. And I suppose show, me and my friends would say, right, we're starting a band. And they would be the singer, I would play bass at the time, and we'd kind of go from there. But nothing really happened. It was just kind of talk. And then I would eventually get together with other musicians once I was able to kind of play some bits and pieces. And it was kind of them, like, right, no, I really, really want to do this. And after one instance was in school, me and my friend, we were doing like a battle of bands kind of thing. And we played Tribute by Tenacious D, and it was just me and him. And we got dressed up and all stuff for it. The bald cap, he had the beard, fake breasts underneath it. And we were crap. We were no good. But the whole audience loved it because he ended up ripping his shirt off, exposing his fake breasts. The entire school, and at 13 years of age, we thought this was great. That just kind of gave me the adrenaline rush. I was like, wow, this is really amazing. I want to do this forever. Sorry, man.
Yeah,
I can't hear you, man. Sorry.
Yeah, I remember. So I was just changing the tablet. So, cool. You just mentioned that you were in a couple of bands when you were at school, but were there any bands that you were sort of like prior to starting to go solo?
So in school, although there's a band now called Power Trip, right originals, and we recorded a super rough demo, 5-song demo, done it live in an attic. But and we were super proud of it. And then that kind of fell by the wayside, unfortunately. I recorded an EP with a friend of mine from this area, and under the same name, Power Trip, a bass player, and we had some loops that we used to write the songs. And we didn't really do anything with those songs. And being where I'm from on the west coast of Scotland, metal's not really the biggest thing. It's fairly popular, but small areas, it's difficult to get gigs and have people attend. And then in 2012, I started college. We gained a wee bit of traction, recorded a 8-track album called Game Over. We supported the likes of Cobra and the Lotus. We played, went around the UK once, and it was great fun. Had a lot of fun with those guys. We're not disbanded or anything, quite far away from each other. So finding the time to get together and rehearse and write songs can be quite difficult. But hopefully in the not so distant future, we'll get together and write some tunes and release them. And then after that, I was in a band called Take Today, and I've been going since about the same time Corrupt the System had started. But Paul, the singer, asked me to join, and this was what, 2017, 2018, and I said, yeah, absolutely. Then went from there, wrote and it's a 4-track EP, I think it's 4, called Visions, and we toured the UK with that. And no, we didn't tour the UK with that. We done a small weekend with that just before COVID fell by the wayside. We had a lot of really cool plans to go over to Europe and stuff, but it just unfortunately didn't happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was like when COVID hit, there was like a lot of bands and a lot of venues and a lot of just went belly up.
Absolutely, that was devastating for the music industry, and particularly grassroots venues and bands and stuff. And I had equipment and gear here that I could do my own thing, so I started doing recording acoustic covers, and some of that gained a little bit of traction, and it was mainly the Metallica ones that got a lot of views. Doing that, I've had a lot of requests for a couple of songs, and that was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot from doing that too.
Yeah, would you sort of like record them as singles to put out or put on the EP?
So I've, for the most part, I've put maybe 3, 4 or 5 of them out. And they should be on all platforms. The idea was to put out to keep musically active more than anything else, because I couldn't leave the house, and I had a lot of the equipment to carry on doing what I was doing.
Yeah. So getting on to sort of like what you've been doing in the last, so what have you been up to, especially in the last 12 months?
I've been writing bits and pieces. I've got a few demos there. I've just been put onto the Reaction management roster, and I've worked with Jay before when I was in Take Today. He managed, for lack of a better term, here's the reason we were doing a lot of really, really cool stuff. But in the last 12 months, I've got a single, and that's come out on the 22nd of this month, called Skylines. And it's kind of a re-release of it. I had released it prior, November last year. That was a song that was started in the middle of COVID, and I kind of got stuck on the last maybe 4 or 5 lines of the last verse, and just recently I got back into it head first and managed to, and I've got a lot, about maybe 3 or 4 songs in the pipeline at the moment as well, which I'm hoping to release in the near future too, which should be fun.
Cool. This is 581 from all the way from Australia.
Awesome, that's cool.
She asks, any plans for tours or gigs, and if so, where?
Well, There's no plans currently, but hopefully within the next maybe 6 to 12 months, hoping to gig for the time being, and then what I just love to get into festivals again. That was just that's something that actually there's this year seen a lot of people I know playing festivals and stuff, and I miss it so much. So I thought it's the easiest way for me to do something would be going solo with myself on the tracks and get it out there. Tours, hopefully within the next 12 months we can get some tours going. Where? Oh, anywhere. I would love to tour anywhere. Across Europe, just we'll see what happens, I think. However, I would love to go to Australia, and actually I'm afraid.
Yeah. Would you go over to North America?
100%. Absolutely, yeah.
Cool. So yeah, thank you for that, Jess. Thank you very
much.
What have you been up to, like writing wise? Have you been writing and recording?
I've got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. A lot of demos recorded currently. And I just need better songs, I suppose. And this way, I think we're working with other people makes the process a bit quicker, so you can get different ideas thrown about. So if I find doing it on my own can be quite a slow process because I'm quite good at procrastinating. So I was like, I'll do this later, and then later is 3 weeks later. But I do have bits and pieces to be polished off, and hopefully to be released within the next couple of months, maybe 2 to 3 months. And then I'm hoping to get an EP released maybe early next year as well.
Cool. So, have you got anything new about like anything released? As in, like been released in the last couple of weeks?
No, not in the last couple of weeks. This, as I say, Skylines is with the help from Reaction this month. So that'll be coming out on a re-promo of it on the 22nd of this month. And then with that will come hopefully shows. Cool.
So, is there sort of like you know, you've been writing a lot of material. Is it when you do sort of like get it all trimmed down and everything sort of like in place, would you be sort of like releasing singles with the eventually of putting of releasing an EP or even an album?
Absolutely, yes. That's the plan. With 6 months, then EP, and hopefully I could get my knuckle down, get my head down, and get an album done. That'll be amazing.
Cool.
That's the plan.
Yeah, cool. So, is there any sort of like plans on releasing merchandise?
That's not something I've thought about recently. I do a bit of kind of artwork and stuff myself. I've dabbled in designing cover art for bands and whatnot, and so I had some t-shirt ideas on the go. What I might do is I might do think over that a bit and have that printed on a few t-shirts, and once it's out there, then hopefully I can get that on the go. But currently, it's not really something I've thought of too much.
Yeah, it's just I always thought just like, especially if it's like if you're releasing sort of an EP later on in the year, possibly early into next year, it's like some sort of like merch, some sort of like t-shirt.
Absolutely, it's a good idea. I suppose as now as a solo artist doing it, I find it maybe a bit more difficult to do, because with being my own name and whatnot, I suppose thinking up of ideas for graphics and stuff for it would be a bit more difficult for me anyway. So, but I suppose with the team behind me, Reaction, with the songs that are out, they can maybe not work as merch.
Yeah, usually it's like sort of like t-shirts, possibly a beanie or baseball.
Absolutely,
probably pins and stickers you should do well as well.
Yeah, I do like a baseball cap. I'm quite fond of them. And I've worked with Pins and Knuckles before, for t-shirts and stuff, and they'd probably be the guys I go back to actually, because their work's brilliant, very, very good.
Cool. So, is there sort of like when you do release the EP or eventually an album, would you put them on your physical media such as a CD?
Yeah, probably. What I would love to do is get them on vinyl. It's just vinyl's just cool, and it's I've always wanted some piece of music that I've done on vinyl, and it's amazing. I would love to have it on definitely CD. Cassette would be cool too, although that's kind of just maybe for show. But definitely CD and vinyl would be my preferred choice.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
I'm from a generation where I used to like to read through the leaflets and stuff, and you have something physical to hold. That's just I appreciate that. I think that's cool.
That was going to be my next question about vinyl, because I'm from a generation of vinyl and CDs and tapes.
Absolutely. Yeah, vinyl's just cool, man. It's so from what I'm told, anyway, it's the only now anyway real physical form of music. It's like, because CD's there, but it still can be lost. It can be wiped and it's gone. Same with digital music. If that file's wiped, that's gone forever. But vinyl, it's there, printed, it's real. You know.
Yeah. Jesse 581 and Lisaboo says yes.
Awesome.
Vinyl.
Cool.
Yes, vinyl. Lisaboo says love vinyl.
Awesome. So, yeah, me too. I've been recently, since the unfortunate passing of Ozzy Osbourne, I've been blasting Volume 4 on my record player. So I managed to source that years ago for 50 pence in a charity shop. So that's been getting hammered.
Yeah, once you have been hammering Black Sabbath, I've been hammering all of Black Sabbath stuff and stuff.
Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely. I mean, there's just something about vinyl that I think I've got an older hi-fi as well, so it doesn't quite work properly. You have to give it a bit of a nudge for both the speakers to work. But there's something quite characteristic about it. Gives it character. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It's like with Final for me anyway. It's like it's got that. Yes, it's got like a nice hiss
Yeah,
to it. A nice warmth.
absolutely.
Yeah, it adds to the quality of the sound.
Of course, of course.
Yeah, Lisaboo just said that Sam been listening to Ozzy a lot lately.
Yeah, me too. It's sad. Well, one last hurrah, didn't he?
One
Absolutely, and just think I would have loved to have been there. But it looked great. Looked so good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's sad because it's basically Ozzy was sort of like my childhood type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like when other artists have died, and no disrespect to any of them, like for example, Chester Bennington was an onward, but Ozzy going from the Black Sabbath days into his solo career and stuff, up until a few weeks ago, he was the voice of lots of generations. Do you know what I mean? And it's watching. I watched the funeral procession as well, and it really is amazing how one people through music.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah, it's like it's sort of like with, not only Ozzy but as Black Sabbath as a whole, they defined a like they sort of like did define a generation of the late
Absolutely.
in early 70s, because not a lot of people know. Well, people who are fans of Black Sabbath know that Black Sabbath wasn't called Black Sabbath when it first started. It was Earth.
That's right. I've totally forgotten that.
But that changed the name from Earth because there was a band out previously. Before them. That's when Geezer put the turn and says, "Oh look, my brother just just saw Boris Collar from Black Sabbath over at the because their rehearsal room was opposite one of the cinemas," and says, "Oh yeah, Black Sabbath. Do you want to call ourselves Black Sabbath?" So
I couldn't really go wrong there. That's just Toby. My buddy. You saying hello?
Toby. Hello, Toby.
Yeah, it's just really, particularly losing the tips of his fingers. I had to figure out a new way how to play guitar, I suppose. And there it was. It's incredible. Really is. Just really, how do I put it? I just think it's amazing. I really do. I do think music on the whole is very important. Work with the elderly as well, and seeing how it affects them in such a positive way. It's a lot of the time music's not given the credit it deserves, in my opinion.
It's I've seen my mum who's in her 80s now. She used to work with people with Alzheimer's, and she said when they used to play music in the homes,
absolutely,
that's when
absolutely
come alive.
There's a fantastic documentary called Alive Inside. I think you can get it on Amazon. Once upon a time it was free, it might not be now, and it shows how powerful music can be to people who have just kind of reverted in other type of dementia, mental health, any of that kind of stuff. And it's so healing, and it does an awful lot.
It does. Because yeah, I suffer from PTSD,
Okay.
and well, basically, for me, music saved my life. Basically,
Yeah.
music saved my life. Because, I was at the time when I was diagnosed. A friend of mine who sadly no longer was with us. He had a massive heart attack.
Sorry to hear that, man.
It's just that you love music, don't you? I says, yeah. So I didn't listen to music for a good 2 years. So basically my partner died. So
Yeah.
so basically he turned around and said, you've got a load of CDs in your house. Grab one, put it on,
Yeah.
and just listen. So I did. It was the Beach with Two Wax album. So I put it on, and basically that sort of like rekindled my love, not only my love for music,
Yeah.
but also music saved my life.
And that's exactly it. It's just, although you're technically listening to it, it's a friend that listens, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it really is. What I mean, from songs you listen to when you were a kid, it takes you straight back to it. It's like a point in your life, and whether it's bad or good, it can take you there, and it helps. It's healing. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah. Lisaboo just said music. Music
Yep.
can't heal.
Certainly can.
Yeah.
Totally.
Going back to a previous thing where Toby says Toby's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, where can people find you on social media so they can keep up?
You can find me on Facebook or NGP Music, Instagram NGP Music with 2 C's at the end of it, and TikTok. And right now, I can't really remember my TikTok handle. I'm assuming it's NGP Music as well. That's usually what I go for. But the main one would probably be YouTube. I've not posted it on there in a while. I'll probably be getting more covers up there soon. I've been requested since I've started Bleeding Me by Metallica, so I'll be getting that up there pretty soon. And a few more off Saint Anger album. There's a cover of 3 years ago, but it still seems to be getting a lot of very nice comments on it.
Cool. So, have you just answered, but have you sort of like got any gigs coming up? Any sort of like gigs?
With Reaction, hopefully we'll get that on the go pretty soon. So before getting together with the Reaction management, I had been quite quiet on gigging and things like that. So with this single and in the not so distant future, and if so, they'll be fired up everywhere. So for everybody to know, hopefully will come along.
Cool. would you, if you do get like a few gigs, would you come down into like, say Newcastle or Sunderland or over to like sort of like Manchester, Liverpool areas?
Yeah, I've gigged Manchester. I don't think I've gigged Liverpool before. Newcastle I've gigged, so definitely, and had a lot of fun down there. So
Cool. So, we start to wrap things up in the next 5-10 minutes or so. Any advice for people who want to become a musician, whether it be for like their own personal enjoyment or possibly going down the commercial route?
Anybody that's asked me this before, I've always said just stubborn. Be stubborn. Don't take no for an answer. Don't let any negative comments, press, or anything like that stop you from doing something that you love. Whether it's something that's just personal to you and you want to sit in house and play, by all means, go for it, because that can be just as beneficial as playing in front of a room full of people. But yes, I would say just don't quit. Persevere. Failure definitely helps, although that's kind of a bit of an odd thing to say, because you don't, in my opinion, you don't learn without failing. You don't get something right if you don't do it wrong first. And if you do get it right the first time, that's just pure luck. And I've actually worked with some young people at a local music group in my local area, and they some of them have gone on to do some pretty cool things. And just keep going, push on, be stubborn, rehearse a lot until you don't ever want to hear the songs again. That then you know you're tight. You can go at any venue and play, and you know it'll work. But my main one's definitely just be pig-headed. Don't quit. Persistence is key, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sound advice there. Sound advice. We've got a couple of comments from Lisaboo and Jesse. Lisaboo says, "Thank you, Neil, for coming on." Aussie Jesse, she says, "Thank you so much, Neil, for coming on. It was awesome."
Thank you for hanging out with us. That's cool. Thank you very much.
And Lisaboo says, "You have
awesome.
a new follower."
Awesome. Thank you very much. That's amazing.
And Jesse says, "Great advice."
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, going to start wrapping things up. So, have you got any final words before we go on?
Well, thank you for having me on the show. It's the first interview I've done for quite some time, and like I said to you earlier on, I've usually got bands with me, so this is very new territory for me. But I've had a fantastic time, and keep a lookout for any new music and gigs coming up. And thank you to everybody for the awesome questions and very nice comments. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for coming on there, Neil.
Oh, not at all, man.
It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.
So, guys in the chat, if you haven't followed Neil, please do. I've put all the links down in the description, and the moderators have been putting the links out. And Lisaboo's just found your TikTok.
Oh, awesome. Brilliant.
Yeah, thank you for that, Lisa. She's the best. She's the best.
Neil JP music. Brilliant. I knew music was in there somewhere. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Lisa, for that. And again, thank you so much, Neil. It's been a complete.
Thank you very much for having me. It's been great. Really, really enjoyed it.
So, guys, until next time, we'll catch you all later.